Hi everyone, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to share with you one of my favorite wintertime tea blends. Hi, my name's Corinne, and here at Spiraea, I share videos that weave together plant wisdom, holistic health, self-sufficiency with just a dash of magic. If this sounds interesting to you, I'd love for you to stick around. So the tea blend I'm going to share with you today is affectionately known as teacher's tea. And here, let's see if I can show you guys without it looking too blurry. There you go. So many years ago, when I was looking for some herbal-inspired gift ideas for my son's teacher and educational assistant, back when he was in the public school system, I came up with teacher's tea. And my husband is a public school teacher, so I often think about, the things that he brings home, which are usually gift cards to the liquor store, gift cards to Tim Hortons, and lots and lots and lots of sugar. And I know that teachers get a lot of that, and I know they appreciate it, but at the same time, I was like, what do they need this time of year? And often what all humans need, not just teachers, is nervous system and immune system support during these winter months. So this little small batch of teacher's tea, I brought a few with me to a couple of the local craft vendor events that I was doing back then, and they were wildly popular. And so I have been making it this time of year ever since. And I thought, since this recipe is not in my book, if you don't have my book, you can definitely snag a copy either on my website or from Amazon. Lots of tea blends in there if you're a tea drinker. But this one's not in there. Now, I am going to be writing an accompanying blog post to this, so make sure that you check out the description below, because I'll make sure that it's a printable recipe, so that way you don't have to write everything I'm saying down. So before we get to the herbs, I just want to make a quick note that this recipe is going to be in parts. And if you've never worked with a recipe that is organized this way, let me give you just some quick tips. Basically, what you need to do is decide what measurement your part is going to be. So may I humbly suggest either a teaspoon or a tablespoon is a great way to start, especially with a tea recipe you've never tried before, because you don't want to waste a lot of herbs only to decide that you don't like this. But if you do like this, then the next time you make it, you can bump it up to, say, a quarter cup of the herbs. So if a recipe says 3 parts and you've decided that your measurement's going to be a tablespoon, then you're going to use 3 tablespoons. So throughout this recipe, just make sure you don't switch up whatever your measurement is, and you will get the same outcome that I do when I blend up this tea. So the first herb that I include in this tea are elderflowers. They're pretty easy to find dry. I'll put a link below if you are from Canada. This is one of my favorite dried herb companies to support. I am an affiliate, so putting out there, but I have been using them for my dried herbs for years. So I highly, highly recommend them. But you could also harvest elderflowers in the summer months and dry them yourself, which would be really quite lovely. So elderflowers are going to make up 3 parts in this recipe. And I like to include them because they're immune stimulating, they're antiviral, they are a mild expectorant, so they are going to help with coughs and those types of things. And they're also what we call a febrifuge, which means they help to modulate fever. Now, of course, much of the properties I'm going to be talking about in this video will be immune related. You do not have to drink this tea when you're sick. It's really quite lovely to drink on its own. And you could just make it a part of your daily ritual to help keep you well and healthy over the winter months. So the next herb we're going to include in our teacher's tea, and you can name it anything you want, is peppermint. And this, just like elderflower, is 3 parts. And I love including peppermint because it is both a nervous system and an immune system supporting plant. And so we've got some kind of multitasking going on here. And if you haven't seen any of my past videos on nervous system herbs or my videos on immune system herbs, I do recommend you check them out. But specifically referring to nervine properties, you're often going to find that a lot of the herbs that we think about as being digestive herbs, like peppermint, have a nervous system component. And that's because plants intuitively knew long ago that there was a connection between the gut and the brain, right? It's only in the last few decades that scientists started patting themselves on the back for figuring this out, whereas nature knew it long before. So in terms of nervous system support, peppermint is a wonderful herb for depression, anxiety, general stress-related conditions. It's also a really great herb for people who tend to feel low energy and lethargic when they're down. It's more of an uplifting herb in terms of supporting the nervous system. And it's really good at driving blood flow to the brain as well. But it's also a decent little antiviral. It's a decongestant. It's an expectorant, and it's going to help to modulate fevers. So you can see why I'm including the humble peppermint in my tea blend. So next we're going to be adding a little bit of heat, and we're going to be adding some ginger. Now I have these dried ginger pieces, and again, I get these from the same supplier, that's Harmonic Arts. I have linked that below. But you can use fresh ginger. So what I would suggest if you want to use fresh ginger is to blend all of your dried ingredients, and then every time you brew a cup of this, just add in some grated ginger root. And this is going to be 2 parts. So again, remember, just keep your parts the same no matter what it is. If you started off using a tablespoon, just use a tablespoon throughout the whole thing. So why am I adding ginger? 1, it's an amazing flavor. 2, it is a fantastic circulatory stimulant. So it's going to help to drive all of those medicinal properties from the other plants to where I want them to go. And so by stimulating the circulation. It's also an immune stimulant, pardon me. And it is overall fantastic for digestion, cardiovascular support. There's really not a lot of reasons why I wouldn't include ginger in this particular formulation. So the 4th herb we're going to be adding into our tea blend is oat straw, and we're going to be doing 2 parts oat straw. And if anybody has worked with oat straw before, you know that it's a wonderful nervous system herb. I actually really like using it when I make nourishing herbal infusions. It's one of my favorite ones. And again, it just helps to really nourish and support overall the nervous system. So it's good for things like depression, anxiety, low energy, again, helping to drive that blood flow to the brain, which is exactly what we want to do. But a little known property of oat straw is it actually does have some immunosupporting properties in it as well. So it has a really nice mild flavor and really accompanies the other herbs well. And last but certainly not least, can you guess? Hibiscus. Now just look at that color. Ah, oh, it's stunning. And so are my water spots. Sorry, hard water. What can you do? Hibiscus, you're going to be doing 3 parts hibiscus. And this plant is also known as sour tea. If you've ever had it before, it does have a little bit of kind of a sour undertone, making it really great for digestion. We really want to stimulate all the areas of our palate when it comes to supporting digestive plants. But the main reason I include this is because of its very robust vitamin C content, as well as its broad range and very high mineral content. It makes it a wonderful addition in terms of just adding in those nutritive benefits. But if you've worked with hibiscus before, you know that it's a wicked little anti-inflammatory. It's a great antioxidant as well, which are exactly the types of supportive properties that we need. So again, you're going to be looking at 3 parts hibiscus to add to your teacher's tea. So there you have it, folks. One more quick look. There is all of those beautiful herbs blended up together, the hibiscus, the peppermint, the elderflower, the ginger, and the oat straw. And you know, it's a seemingly odd combination of plants, but it comes together quite beautifully. It's a very, very tasty tea. Like I said, it's one of my favorite ones to have in the winter months. And feel free to tinker with the ratios a bit. You know, maybe you want this tea a little bit more sour and you want to add a bit more hibiscus, or you really like nice, pungent, hot teas. You can add some more ginger. There's certainly nothing wrong with tinkering with the ratios. I just wanted to share with you my tried and true recipe, the one that people seem to really, really like. But sometimes if I'm feeling under the weather, I will actually add a little bit of extra ginger for that heat and pungency, because again, I didn't mention it in the ginger section, but any herb that is a circulatory stimulant, especially through the mechanisms of pungency and heat, automatically is a bit of a decongestant. We all know what happens when we eat spicy food, right? Like your nose starts to run. So I always try to add a little bit more of that heat in there. So again, I will be doing a blog post on this, so you can check out in the comments below, so you can print out that recipe and have it. I think this would be a really lovely nightcap to have after, say, a big, heavy Christmas meal. Many of the herbs in this will help you digest as well, and you can share with your family and friends, or maybe you have a tea enthusiast that you were just looking for that last little gift that you wanted to tuck in to the rest of their packages. This would make a really nice addition. If you have any questions or comments about this tea blend, you can leave those below. And this is Corinne from Spiraea Herbs, wishing you both health, wellness, as well as a blessed winter season.